Top left-hand side, our blue Terran player. Emotionally unavailable. Kaizi Gaming's INnoVation is so popular in China. The most popular player in China alongside Scarlet. His opponent here, pretty much all killed. TSG yesterday, it's Rogue. You can hear the crowd's a little bit quieter for Rogue. INnoVation is so popular in China. 3-0'd by Fantasy the other day when he made his appearance. After he did show up in the All-Stars match, he 3-1 partner and then went 0-3 against Solar. We've seen a good amount of INnoVation this weekend. Barracks dropping down at the front. We get this set to go. Hatchery coming in on the natural expansion, setting up as well. As we build up in these early few minutes, so getting this set to go, look to see what's going to happen as this barracks dropping down. It's going to finish up shortly. And yeah, this hatchery about halfway done as well, going to be wrapping up there. As you go into a hatch gas pool opener. Nothing too crazy. The starter Triton will be nice, safe, and steady. INnoVation showed some good games against Solar. Just a couple of fights, a couple of engagements at points went the other way and kind of turned the game on its head, especially that game on Thunderbird, which was very long. Back and forth between Solar and INnoVation. In the end, Solar was just able to turn it around. That was a scrappy game. INnoVation won a game on World of Sleepers that was very convincing. It was just generally kind of a couple of fights didn't go his way. There was a proxy Rax that didn't go his way either. Solar was the better player on the day, but INnoVation showed some pretty good StarCraft, and would imagine that makes them very dangerous here going up against Rogue on Triton. Drone chasing an SCV. The SCV going to take another shot or two. There's the hatchery dropping down in the third base. Hooper shows up to start and harassing a couple of Zerglings. That dance will begin. Rogue was so good yesterday. And to be fair, I can kind of understand sending that Rogue over Maru. You know, you send that Maru for TVT. TVT, I mean, every mirror matchup is just that little bit more volatile. All it takes is like one amazing interference matrix and boom, your tank wasn't unsieging in time. And entire, you know, TVT can flip on its head right then and there. Zerglings picking away at the rocks. We're coming over to the side. Overlord hanging out overhead. As you see, Ling's able to turn that Reaper away. Best of 7 of best of 2, asks Montian. Yes. Every map, every player that comes out plays a best of 2. If you go 1-1, both players are eliminated, new players are sent out, and each team gets a point. If you go 2-0, the other player is eliminated, your team gets a point, and you can stay out and play another game. Oh yeah, Reaper in the center of the map. Looking to see what will happen here. So far today, just as an example, we had Rex getting 2-0'd by Bunny. So Kaizi Gaming scored a point, and Rex was eliminated. Then Trap came out, Bunny stayed out, so because he went 2-0. Trap and Bunny went 1-1, so they both got eliminated. Both teams get a point. Both teams had to send out the next player. It's working out quite nicely, as we do see. Hellions pulling back out into the center of the map. Marine is just going to be keeping this Overlord away. Banshee, Cloak on the way up. 1-1 means no points for the teams. Yes, 1-1 means a point for each team. It means a player is eliminated. It's better to think of it in terms of lives, where each team has 4 lives, and if you lose a map, you lose a life. But if you lose 2 maps, you don't lose a life, just your other team doesn't lose a life as well. That's why Jinne have 2 lives remaining, and Kaizi have 3 lives remaining still. Hellions down the bottom side, pushing down. Queen's coming across. Those Hellions will be pushed away to the left. Lair will be finishing up shortly. Some extra Overlords building from Rogue, who's in a pretty serious supply block now. INnoVation's early Banshees joining together. We'll have Cloak shortly to go across the map and harass if they'd like to. We get into a nice little macro game here to start this off. Stimpack as well, that bio style, going to be the choice from INnoVation. What's the max amount of games in one series? It's between 7 and 13 maps. So if every series goes 1-1, and then the ace match, or if every series goes 2-0 and to one side, you can basically get either 7 maps, all kill, you can get 7 maps 4-3, or you can get like 13 maps and it can be, 4-3 as well. So there's a huge round. There's a huge, not a huge disparity, but it means that we're guaranteed a good amount of maps for these matches. Just going to see a couple of drones being picked away at. 4 workers going down, 5 workers going down. Nice start from INnoVation, getting some economic damage done here. As you do see, Zergling's continuing to pop on out. Spire on the way up. The Queen coming over. Those couple of Banshees will turn around into the main, where we're going to find a few extra drones as well. So 7 workers, but the Banshees killed off. The 1-1 upgrade's about halfway done. They're going to keep moving along here. You see 1-1 melee upgrades coming up on the Evo chambers. Baneland speed coming up as well. We're going to opt for the Spire, so some Ling Bane Muta to try and take out INnoVation on Triton. If INnoVation wins one map, he puts Jin Air Green Wings onto their last life, which is very scary. Very scary. Marines and Widow Mines out into the center here. INnoVation's first real kind of ground push of the game. Getting some build up on the right hand side. A Changeling. That Changeling's like, yeah, me too, guys. Let's go kill some Zerg. Yeah, we got this. We got this. So yeah, you kill those Balers. I'll tank for you guys. See? Goes out a hero. The Marines never knew any different. They didn't know he was a Changeling. INnoVation is none the wiser. His Rogue just watched that attack come straight across the right side of the map. Hellions still just sat in the center, watching for run-bys, looking for counters. INnoVation up 10 supply, by the way. Just a few early drone kills, and INnoVation's macro already begins to just take off. It's really, really quite something, as we do see the Mutalists coming in. A couple Hellions going down. Marines hanging out in the center as well. Widowmine will burrow up. Those couple of Zerglings will get taken down there. So Lings will be picked off, as we do just have Thor continuing on out. And again, Drilling Claws going to be finishing up as well very soon. So continue to set that up as a couple of Changelings get shot down as well. Another Thor on the way in, as these Marines will just get underneath the Overseer. Clean that off as well, so it's a good shutdown. Another Overseer now out front, going to set up some Ling Bane. Continuing to establish. Banelings continuing to morph in. Let's back around in the center. Those Banes still up the left side. Widowmine's going to blow those up, though. That is what you call a good shutdown. 2 Banes left, and they won't do much against the wall off the bunker. These Mutalists, we've barely seen anything from the Mutas. At least they're going to catch this medevac now. But they've not really been able to find any openers either. And there's a few links into the mineral line. Bugasius are there. INnoVation's Marines. That's only going to be a couple SCVs lost at most, as INnoVation splits in the center. Look how far ahead his 2-2 upgrades are as well. INnoVation's just killing Rogue here. Through pure macro, more or less. A couple of extra circles going down. That was a bit of a waste of a Widowmine shot, but not the end of the world. As he slowly cleans out creep and figures out which direction he really wants to commit to the push in. Looks like he's going to go right. I mean, there's a couple bases down the left. Rogue does have a lot of bases set up overall. Big sim from INnoVation. He really wants to try and trade out now. We'll get another Widowmine a bit further forwards here. Drilling Claws has been completed for a little while, so man, Widowmine just picks off a good chunk of Banelings again. How many times have we seen that now as Widowmines get the Zerglings counter-attack, which turns the Mutalists around. This is one of those games where the Widowmines are just the Terran's best friend. They seem to be doing absolutely everything they need, time after time, It's not every day the Widow Mines are Terran's best friends. Oftentimes you see those Widow Mines turning against the Terran player, but yeah, this has been amazing. Snipes the Sense Terror on the way out. Rogue at least finding some damage as he has gotten himself to hide. He is getting the Dream Glance, he is getting the Ultra's Cavern, so his game is building up still. He's getting to that next little point where he's going to be that little bit stronger, but he's not starting +3 upgrades, so he's not quite there yet, because without 3 upgrades, those Ultras are still going to be pretty vulnerable. See those Banelings crashing in, not going to do much. Bio at the front, those Banes still going to be coming forwards here. Widow Mines pressing in as well. Across the map, these Zerglings trying to push into this, and the Queen taking a little bit more damage. Bane's still streaming forwards. These Banelings will be cleaned out, so Bane's going down. More Lings up the right-hand side. I mean, INnoVation's just taking fight after fight that looks so good for him. He's got so many Widow Mines left over. He's pre-splitting them before the Banes roll into them. Look at that. Splits on the Widow Mines, then burrows up. Banelings don't even connect on the Marines. And now Rogue barely has any Banelings left. The couple he has do find a few Marines at least. There's some more Banes from the right side. Widow Mine hits a current number of Zerglings. How many times are these Widow Mines just going to do amazing things for INnoVation in this game? Too many, perhaps. This hatchery is in real danger of going down. Rogue will make one last attempt to defend it. Here he goes. The meter's flying to double Thor. Medevac lifts up the Thor. That Medevac's super low. Has to be careful. Save that with a better health. Medevac now, as we'll see Widow Mines still cleaning up. INnoVation is pushed back. Rogue defends the hatchery, but only just. A Widow Mine is about to come off cooldown here. We'll just go on to a Queen. Nothing too spectacular. INnoVation still pressing down the map. First Ultras are coming onto the map as well, though. But again, 3-3 upgrades are not in play for Rogue, and 3-3 is well on the way from INnoVation. We'll see in the production tab how far along those upgrades are shortly. The upgrade, I mean, you basically need the +3 carapace to make the Ultras good, especially against +3 bio units here. You're going to see a couple of Widow Mine shots going off again. The Link counterattack is causing some slowdown of reinforcements here, so INnoVation is actually just going to decide to pull back. I think he just left a Thor behind, though, in the middle of the map. Left both the Thors. Tries to save it with this Medevac. He actually might be able to get it out of there alive. The Mutants are going to give chase. The Thor is over undroppable ground, and the Thor falls, and suddenly INnoVation loses 15 supply of his army, and Rogue gets ready to be aggressive as he sets up to run in towards this base. Couple of Ultras here in some trouble right away. We see some Banes rolling forwards into this, and again, those Banes continuing in. Liberators sieging up. We will have the Liberators doing a good little bit of support damage. Again, look how fast that Ultra just goes down, as these Banelings won't really connect on much either. 13 SCVs killed, though. Rogue found his way into that mineral line. And that means finally INnoVation has taken some real eco damage here from one of Rogue's attacks. INnoVation has been so good all game long at just not taking any damage. Finally, Rogue finds a way, and he finds an engagement that's beneficial for him. Rogue, by the way, 93 drones, is looking amazing in that work account at the moment. It's doing really well so far. As we're going to see Marines will snipe down an Overseer. Nidus Network into the main base as the Marines Marauders in front of the natural. The Widow Mine, a couple of creep teamers being picked off. Zerglin is pouring out in the main. And again, just Marine Marauder continue to pick away at a few extra Lings. Liberators will siege up as well. Those Widow Mines coming in. Just extra Zerglins continuing to set up as they're going to run in towards this SCV line. Rogue's really got a bit of momentum back in this, and he is finally going into those 3-3 upgrades, but INnoVation's ready to enter the later stages of this game as well. Ghost production started, Liberators coming out. Rogue's also going to try harassing with the Nidus networks to try and backstab INnoVation, pull him away elsewhere while attacking different locations. Rogue and INnoVation just some excellent CVT so far. Those Widow Mines were not burrowed in time, so the Banelings are allowed to connect in towards the Bio Army. Another Nidus in the main base. Those Niduses are going to be consistent. INnoVation might just want to keep a little squad of units back just to consistently deny Nidus networks, because the threat of those coming up is really serious, and if they do come up, it gets real messy real quickly. So you've got to be pretty careful about that as it is in towards the orbital command. This Marauder force will deny the Nidus in the main base for the moment as well. More Lings and Banes on the right. Widow Mine shot is going to get the first few Zerglings there, so Again, just I mean, somewhat random Widow Mine positioning, right? Just kind of left behind from previous fights, etc. It always goes a long way to helping, because a couple of Widow Mines where you don't expect them will often get some nice connections, slow down an attack. It's also information, right? You're picking up on the fact that, hey, this army is coming across the map. Bio pushing down the right side. Start fighting here, Ultralisk. Towards the Liberator range, we're going to see these Marauders going to be crashed into. Ghosts having to pull back, of course, staying away from the Banelings. And the Ghosts, when they survive the Banelings, do some amazing damage output to Zerglings. I mean, the fact there's Ghosts here in general is kind of amazing. What are they going to snipe? I guess the Corruptors, get rid of those a little bit. These Ghosts, as the Marines take the charge, take the lead, trying to pick off some of these Banes already. You can see those Ghosts are looking for the opportunity to snipe. They will line up onto the Corruptors there, and a few of them getting shot down, some brought low. And come out Banes, the Ghosts again, the priority to being saved, and they are brought back through the Liberator range. INnoVation gets them to the back. Did they just blow up though still? I think the Banelings managed to connect, and now the Liberator's in some trouble as they're on their own here as well. A couple of reinforcements going to start making a stand also. Extra Marines showing up. All these Liberators will end up going down. Snipe still lining up on towards the Corruptors. The Corruptors, which are now very low because of all the snipe damage they've taken. INnoVation still pushing down the center. There's a harassment going into INnoVation's main base. That Nidus did end up coming out here. Widow Mines burrowing a big part of defending. Even Overseer's getting sniped down and picked off by Widow Mines is a big little something. That doesn't look good. That looks a lot better. Two more Ultras in production here from Rogue. There we go. Picture-in-picture comes up as you see the harassment in the main base that was being established here. Some Zerglings still pouring out of the Niduses. You see that Nidus being loaded up. It's such low health. Keeping that alive is actually allowing this attack to continue on. Widow Mines all over the place. Liberator showing up too. INnoVation is taking quite a bit of damage. Rogue on 102 workers. No wonder his economy hasn't taken any hits here, hasn't really given out. He's got so much income as INnoVation. They'll line up a snipe. That Ultra will go down. These Nidus networks will finally be cleaned up. But this was a great pull move by Rogue. It pulls INnoVation back, it distracts him, it pulls him away. Now an Ultralisk in the middle of the map is going to pick off a couple different Widow Mines. Army from INnoVation down the right side, the Roguelings hitting over on the left as well. So let's continue to move on through this. A couple of Liberators up in the sky as well. How about your army? Picking off Zergling after Zergling as these otherlings have to run away also. Nidus network into the main base. Cleaned up quickly. Command just about saved INnoVation, relocating his main base orbital over there. Oh, I love those couple burrowed Banelings. That's so cheeky. I mean, a good burrowed Baneling connection could be the start of everything. Oh my god, they just died to the splash damage from the Widow Mine. Well, this base might go down as INnoVation has nothing here to defend it. Some Ghosts line up some snipes, but actually doesn't actually target it enough to get a kill. Nidus is in the main base, denied again. INnoVation again seems to have been on the run for the last few moments as Rogue has just been all over the map. Liberators will siege up. Banelings will have to pull back a little bit. Two Marauders pressing forwards. Here we go, another army from INnoVation. Still against, I mean, early late game from our Zerg play. And when I say early late game, I mean he's still just kind of ultra focused. But that Ultralisk army has just cleaned up massively here, and INnoVation taking big hits. Inno doesn't have a bank to fall back to anymore, and it looks like Rogue, with that fight, is going to break INnoVation. Top left-hand side, our blue Terran player from Kaizi Gaming. Their ace, he hasn't been doing much acing. It is INnoVation. Bottom right, our red Zerg player. Janae Green Rings Rogue has got to be candidate for MVP of these playoffs right now. He's had, I mean, obviously it's maybe a bit unfair because Janae have had to play more matches than anyone else, but he's been killing it all weekend long. At some point in the game, INnoVation had 30 more army supply. How did he not manage to win? Because you've got to push across the map, get onto group spread, and defensively, Zerg doesn't need the same army supply as the Terran to win fights, because you don't necessarily need to win fights, you just need to stop the fights happening. Rogue's army was designed to have less army supply, because he had so many drones he's looking to fight with less army supply, but he'd be able to rebuild that time and time again. So he's taking like very skirmishy fights. You know, a few Banelings roll in, reinforcements start building. A few Lings and Banes run in, fight, pull back a little bit, start rebuilding. So set up into game number 2 now. What does INnoVation change? I mean, Disco is a bit of a smaller map. The thing is about that first game, it was very similar to the game INnoVation played against Solar on Thunderbird, where basically he was basically going to be... He was winning the game, but it got to that stage where the Zerg just stayed on Lingbane Ultra Corruptor. And especially when the Corruptors came up and you're calling out Liberators, that's where the real problem arises, because then the Liberators aren't there, then you don't have as much of a defense against the Ultras. And it just gets to this stage where the Zerg just stays on that, keeps harassing, takes a large work account. And that's what Terran is really struggling with at the moment. Especially INnoVation, at least this weekend, has been his problem a couple of times. Now he sends his Reaper on a bit of a flight as he bops it with the grenade. Wing speed starting from Rogue, Hatchery dropping into the third base. Reaper into the main, as you do see the Zerglings moving around. The Reaper's going to come in and a little bit of damage, nothing too crazy. Ling's running after that Reaper, so Reaper will be pushed away. And here we are. In game 2 of INnoVation Rogue. In fairness, game 1 definitely delivered. Gave us the game I think we were all hoping to see. As the barracks will start up a tech lab. Sitting out the front, Queen out here as well, as we do see Ling Speed, Nubitize Carapace on the way up. Hellions down the bottom side of the map. As there is the Cloak Banshee starting on the starport. Reaper is going to hop up into the main base, so Reaper will be moving around a little bit. Comes back down to the natural, as we do see the Baneling there starting as well. A lot of build-up in these early stages. The Banshee, the Cloak, the Stimpak, all of this getting going. And Nubitize Carapace about to complete. Taking a moment to appreciate the calm before the storm here, especially after that last game, quite lengthy. Banshee play opening again from INnoVation. I mean, that's what kind of gave him the early momentum last time. Banshees came in. It was only like 7 or 12 workers, right? Did he get 7? Did he get... No, he just got 7 and he didn't get 5 more. It was just 7 workers, and he, from them 7 workers, really exploded in the game and just never let up. It was just aggressive time after time from that point. 2 extra packs on the way down. Stimpak just over halfway done. 3rd CC building in the wall off. INnoVation sticking to what he did in the last game, more or less. I mean, we're just waiting for those Banshees to arrive and perhaps deal some damage. Meanwhile, Rogue, his Lairs coming down. He's a bit later on Evo Chambers here, so INnoVation will have the faster 1-1 upgrades. His Lair down. We'll see if he just wants to go straight toward Bane speed. And see what kind of tech choice he makes on that Lair. Does he go Aspire again for the Mutalisk? Does he look towards something a little bit different, like maybe a Hydrus then? I mean, this map is very push-focused for the Terran. Hydras can obviously help you buffer those kind of aggressive attacks. We just do good countering though and breaking up those attacks, shutting down reinforcements sometimes, so each of those styles has their strengths. As we do see the Banshees will arrive in the natural expansion for 3 drone kills right away. And again, those 2 Banshees together will now, I like it, dodges back towards the natural where you'll find 4-5. Again, good damage early. And those Banshees can just sit in the corner for a moment or two now, wait this out for a little while, as those Hellions are going to be a little bit stuck. That's a shame. INnoVation going to lose his Hellions here, so not a lot of value gained from them. Do the Banshees just make a play and die? I'm not sure No, they're still there, okay. 7 drones killed then. INnoVation losing the Hellions a bit of a shame, but didn't do much with them last time. You will see Rogue dropping down the Hydralisk down, so Rogue is going to change up his playstyle this time. Going to go a little bit differently to what we were seeing previously. As Marines and a tank, Medivacs 2, down through the center of the map here. Those Queens still just sat behind this mineral line. And the army continues forwards. Zerglings up on the top are going to run by in towards mineral line as well. These SCVs already in some trouble. 1-2 workers going down. Oh, this is a really nice counterattack. This is damage that Rogue never got last game. 6 workers killed. Now INnoVation is pushing the bottom side. We'll see if we can get something done perhaps. He's in danger of losing that siege tank. We do not get a shot to see if it survived. I think it did. SCV's pulled in to repair it as well if needed, so I think we were okay. Banshees at the front, being cautious. We do see the Marines coming in this tank position. Very powerful, but not if the Lings go around the other side and get us around on it. And now you can see INnoVation, the desperation to lift up there and get out of trouble. These extra Marines need to be cautious as well. Another tank showing up, but very slowly. Marines and a tank just gathering out over from the left side. Marines again, going to fire away. Lings taking some damage. Army still pressing the bottom side. A couple of Crypt Teamers will get picked off. INnoVation's attack still continuing despite somewhat being shut down up until now. Here we go. Fight breaks out again. INnoVation starts 2-2. Was a little bit slow to start 2-2, but Rogue just slow start on his own, so INnoVation will maintain that upgrade advantage. This hatchery goes down. That's a major issue for Rogue. He will be brought down heavily on bases as the tanks are just that little slow to get those Balings. Because it's Hydra's, tanks will continue to be made this game rather than going in towards Mutalisks. Against Hydra's, tanks are just that little bit of a better choice as this tank will leave it on siege. INnoVation going to prioritize keeping this alive. Great save on Rogue's hatchery again. He made a great save on the hatchery in the first game, and he does the exact same again now. Really, again, a job very well done. As you see this army up through the middle. Hydra's, Lings, and Banes will knock down these rocks in the center as well, so taking those down. See what else they can get to as we're going to be seeing the 2-2 upgrades. Continuing up. Marines unloading here. Spore Crawler going to be taking some damage. That tank will get sieged. I mean, Medivac surviving for the moment. Another spore picked off. I mean, picking off spores, right? It forces drones to be made into spores again if you want to get those back up. As Ling is not having a good time, trying to buy some time. Tank was unsieged, and the Hydras get a Medivac as INnoVation is just out of there. Using this as an opportunity to clean creep on the left side. Balin's running forwards. INnoVation not in position. And this happened a little bit against Solar as well the other day, where he multiple times over kind of lost a few Marines to Balin's because he just wasn't quite paying attention at the right time. He needs to sharpen up on that. Can't let that continue, because otherwise it becomes way too painful. Lings and Hydra's out over to the right from Rogue. Medivacs out into the middle of the map. So Banelin's going to be moving on the right side. The Banshee's going to cloak up again, and as those Banshees cloak, the Hydras are going to get pushed away for a moment. INnoVation is still setting up some aggression on the right. Look at this massive drop which can fly into the main. He's really been looking to abuse the drop style against these no Mutalisk opener. Really, INnoVation is all over the map at the moment, and this is what it takes to pull Rogue apart, apparently, as there we go into the main base. Tanks will be sieging. He's actually going to kill the Hive. Oh my god, no way. The Hive is going to go down before he can build anything off of it. That's such a huge pick-off. This basically keeps Rogue on Lingbane Hive for such a long time. Amazing from INnoVation, and now he's going to have a drop on the left-hand side as well. Here we go. Lingbane going to be pushing forwards. Tanks firing away. INnoVation will save what he can. Obviously, there's a lot of units committed in there, but so worthwhile. He still trades out well, and most importantly, I think, trades out well, gets the Hive. I mean, the Hive is such a great kill. Rogue went into +1 missiles and +2 carapace, so he's actually behind on upgrades at the moment. As INnoVation will just commit for this hatchery, kills that, gets out. Nothing dies because of the upgrade difference. The lack of a melee +2 really makes those Zerglings that much weaker, and it means this drop play becomes even more powerful again. Medevac into the main, shut down by the Hydralisks. The lair on the way up from Rogue. That lair will give him access, of course, to the well, probably to the Spire here, right? Sorry, the lair will give him access to the Spire and the infestation bits. He's got the infestation. I get myself confused. It's because he's building the lair, and I want to talk about him building the hive. It gives him access to the hive, which gives him access to the greater Spire. Finally got my information out on the mic for you guys. But yeah, I mean, that just slows everything down. I mean, maybe he doesn't even want greater Spire, probably wants Ultras. With Hydras, though, you generally can go straight to Broodlords because you kind of bypass the Hydras can kind of fight against Vikings a little bit. You know, you just have that stronger ground army, so you don't necessarily need the Ultras to help the transition into the late game. The Ultras are typically a stepping stone in ZVT, where they're that kind of support unit, which, when you get Hive up, it's quite easy to get a couple Ultras up, and they do give you that kind of stopping power against the Terran army, and it buys you the time to build Broodlords. In this game, again, you may not need that with the Hydra Force already up, although maybe Rogue being in some trouble and on a very late Hive, maybe you will just need to go Ultras just so you can improve that army in any way you can. Group spread from Rogue, very contained as well towards his own side of the map, so INnoVation is able to move around quite comfortably. Huge counter-attack. INnoVation, well, he's already got, those Lings are just getting massacred as they try and run in here. Tanks and siege as well, so INnoVation is quite eager to take a fight. There's no Banelings in this. The Banelings are coming in from the right side. Here we go, Zerglings from the top. The Marines are going to load up. He's going to pull back and drop down, meaning that he doesn't get picked off all at once by those Banelings. The tanks will continue to go down here. Rogue is going to make a cleanup. Those Medevac's no boost, so they're going to have to escape slowly. Rogue just killed off the entire tank force. This was so good for INnoVation until he couldn't split away from the Banelings. Not able to split away from the Banes was probably the biggest issue of all right there. Marines through the top as they're going to come in, and that's going to be a dead Overlord. Oh, Command Center could drop back down. Bane, Hydra. On the bottom side of the map here, Fusion Core about halfway done. A couple extra starports are building up too. As INnoVation kind of probably accepts this is going late game. I mean, ranged Liberators against a Hydra force is great as well. Keep those Libs away from the Hydras. And also still very powerful at being able to pick away at those Hydras as well, able to put a lot of damage output out there. Tanks will siege, Bio pressing down. Bio gonna load up into Medevac's gonna go boosting toward the main base. I mean, it's a risky drop because there's Vipers, there's Hydras coming in, Parasitic Bombs are going to start from the Vipers. Then there's going to be a Blinding Cloud. Medevacs are going down. INnoVation's losing all his Medevacs. I mean, there's the Blinding Cloud that the tanks are going to be stuck in as well. I don't like this from INnoVation at all. I mean, the tanks finally getting siege and they do pick off a good amount of Hydras, okay. I mean, this felt extremely risky though. I mean, INnoVation makes it work in the end. I mean, the Vipers obviously, I mean, imagine the Vipers weren't there. This probably ends the game, but Vipers made it look very bad for INnoVation, but INnoVation is still okay enough for him to make this work out overall. We have quite a game on our hands right now, as INnoVation is trying to make something happen here against Rogue. Not finding any openers just yet, though. Lingbean Hydra back around the bottom. We'll continue to set up for the moment. Medevac's being repaired a little bit as well. We do have again a couple of moments of calm before this gets back into the crazy showdown we were just having. INnoVation 200 supply maxed out against the 165. Tigers do pick off this Medevac on the left. As you do see Marines pushing forwards, that's going to be a dead Overlord as well. INnoVation's got a lot of bases up so far. Man, again, I was really scared about that drop in the main, but like I said, was able to make it work, and that's obviously big for him. In the end, those final tack shots on the Hydras were really powerful, so Since then, Rogue just been trying to rebuild a little bit. INnoVation now maxed out. Picks off a hatchery on the bottom side. 90 workers each, so this game both the players have a ridiculous amount of economy to rebuild with after the fights. Ghost pulling back up the top left. Extra Banelings morphing in into the center. Ghost Bio pushing forward, so you're going to see a couple of lives going to continue to set down their sieges, so sieging up here. INnoVation pushing in towards this hatchery, and this hatchery is going to take quite a bit of damage. Ghost pulling back a little bit as well. Lings and Bane still running forwards, and that Liberator fire doing a pretty good job at the moment. The Parasitic Bomb on the Medivac on the Liberator. The Bio still splitting back, but it's INnoVation who's able to trade out well. The Liberator is still alive, so the Ultras are taking a lot of damage on the ground. The Ghosts are still part of this too. And what does Rogue have to throw at INnoVation now? Those Ghosts can snipe down anything. Even if they just snipe, Hydras, they're going to get worthwhile kills. Just has to be careful about those Banelings, which are going to finish morphing in. But INnoVation can kind of split against this. You shouldn't have too much trouble. Has the Liberator coverage as well. INnoVation going 1-1 with Rogue is going to mean that Jin'e are going to be down to their final player with Masaki from Kaizi to try and shut this down. We see the Ghosts being picked away out here. Ghost splitting backwards. There's the game. INnoVation